Welcome to Module 2 of Thriving with Anxiety. Here's what we covered in the first module. The whole goal was identifying the roots of your anxiety. And we talked about a couple of reasons why it's hard for you to identify the roots of your anxiety. Number one, negative beliefs about anxiety. You've been trained since birth to think anxiety is a bad thing. It's not. Number two, distraction, and more distraction. It's hard to focus on our anxiety. And number three is confusing anxiety with other emotions because it's all mediated, all controlled by adrenaline. Now that you have a better understanding of your own anxiety, the goal in this module is to show you how to use it as a way of deepening your intimacy and connection with other people in your life. In the Harvard study on adult development, Dr. Robert Waldinger found something fascinating. The number one predictor of well-being at age 80, it's not IQ, it's not socioeconomic status, it's not even physical health. It's the quality of your relationships, specifically romantic relationships, at age 50. We are social creatures. We're not meant to be alone. And to the extent that we are connected and have intimacy and closeness with other people, that's what helps us to thrive. Now, for that reason, anxiety doesn't just occur to you as an individual. It occurs in a social context. And it's messy to deal with your own anxiety around other people, to deal with other people's anxiety around you. So any workshop that deals with anxiety, especially if the goal is to thrive with it, needs to deal with the interpersonal aspects of this emotion. Here are a couple of points that relate to anxiety as it pertains to relationships that we're going to be speaking about in this module. Anxiety can help you to understand other people. By probing how you feel, you can get a better sense of what other individuals are experiencing. Second, anxiety can help you to accept other people's limitations. Anxiety occurs when we misperceive a threat. In some ways, it's an error. It's an error that we all make. And recognizing that can help us to be more accepting of other people's idiosyncrasies. And finally, most important of all, and this often gets missed in anxiety treatment, is that emotional connection can be created by using your anxiety. When you share it, when you get it off your chest, when you get it out of your heart, and it penetrates the heart of another, that can create a very strong emotional bond if it's done in the right context. And I'm going to show you how. Let's talk about how your anxiety can help you to better understand the emotional landscape inside of other people and why that is important to thriving. Have you heard of mirror neurons? These are specialized brain cells, and they activate when you observe other people performing an action that you have previously performed. As you can imagine, mirror neurons play a crucial role in empathy, in emotional attunement, being aware and responding appropriately to other people's emotions, and also social connections, because if we can mirror our experiences onto others, then we're better able to connect with them. They also help us to understand, to respond to other people's feelings, sometimes without even thinking, and maybe even more importantly, to develop interpersonal bonds and emotional connection, as we'll see later in this module. Okay, so how does anxiety relate to mirror neurons? While you are feeling anxious, the functioning of your mirror neurons is disrupted. It's difficult to empathize with other people when you're clouded by anxiety yourself. You might even be overly sensitive to other people's behaviors. It might be that you perceive other people inaccurately, whether it's their verbal cues, what they're actually saying, or nonverbal cues like their body language. However, if you have experienced intense anxiety before, that can be harnessed by mirror neurons in order to understand other people's emotions. It's like anything else that the mirror neurons harnesses onto. If you've experienced something like playing tennis, you're going to have a better understanding and appreciation when you watch other people playing tennis. And if you've had intense emotional experiences, well, that can open you up to understanding the emotional experience of others. That's not insignificant. That means greater empathy, social connection, and ultimately greater levels of love and intimacy. Let me tell you a story about a former client. Her name was Sarah, and I saw her when she was late in high school, and she had very significant anxiety, panic attacks, lots of social fears, lots of concern about academic performance. Sarah was really tough on herself, and her anxiety worsened as a result. At some point, she missed nearly a month of school. And we worked really hard for her to become more accepting, more aware, firstly, of her anxiety, more accepting of herself, and using other clinical interventions to be able to change her thinking and ultimately change her behavior. A couple years later, Sarah was doing much better. Yes, she still had anxiety, and yes, she was still tough on herself, but not to the same extent. And she was functioning, she was actually flourishing and thriving. And that's when something nearly magical happened. Her friends in college started to struggle themselves with self-doubt, with academic stress, with concern about their looks, and she harnessed her previous experiences of anxiety to become, in many ways, the village therapist. All of her friends poured their hearts out to her, and she understood intuitively exactly what they were going through by mustering up her own experience of anxiety. She had been through it. And let me tell you, as a therapist, almost everyone in the field has been through something. We use our experiences in order to understand the depths that other people are going through. Anxiety, therefore, can create more empathy and understanding of others' emotions. It can make it so much easier to connect not just to friends, but also as a parent to one's kids, as a neighbor to people in one's community, as a coworker, as a boss. These are aspects of humanity that we all need today. When we see people struggling, do we really understand what's going on? Well, if you've had anxiety, you have an advantage. And by the way, if you ignore your anxiety, if you don't befriend it, you're more likely to become isolated and alone. Because it's harder to relate to people, and it's harder to be relatable if you haven't experienced anxiety. So this is all part and parcel of becoming a thriving human being in specifically the area that we all need in order to be happy, which is social connection. So in the next video, we're going to talk about what happens when this greater understanding of others leads you to understand that they're limited and maybe flawed in a deep way. Anxiety can help you to accept them and to maintain connection even when relationships get tense.